Average Dude has something to say about...
Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 7 of Average Dude. I was really looking forward to doing a lighthearted episode with you all, and I can't do it because something was brought to my attention not that long ago, and this needs to take precedence. Episode 2 dealt with the situation, the Ohio story with Lynn Jackenheimer, who was murdered, and the person who's now wanted by the FBI and the U.S. Marshals, not to mention Ashland County of Ohio and Dade County of North Carolina, because they're actually going to be holding the trial. Nathan Summerfield is wanted for murder 1. And pretty much everybody's been covering this story except the Cleveland Plain Dealer. And they have been flooded with, well, quite frankly, a bunch of complaints. Why in the blankety blank are you not covering this story at all? Everyone else is. And they just didn't. This isn't the first time that the Cleveland Plain Dealer has refused to cover something, and they've caught heat, and they've had a problem with it later on. But ooh, this one really, really reeks. Yeah, on Cleveland.com, the Plain Dealer has their little section, and their reader representative section, which is a useless section since it is mostly opinion-based junk. Their columnist there, Ted Diadian, I probably mispronouncing that last name. You know what? I'm just going to refer to him from this point on. This video is Ted. Yeah, read this story because it's not that old. He wrote junk. He wrote total junk. If you look at this reader representative section, it's nothing but opinion crap. And yet most of his articles on there, I mean more than a few, are basically lecturing people about not reading news from the internet or watching it on TV. That you need to read it in print. In fact, read it from the Plain Dealer because that's where the integrity lies. You know, that kind of crap. I'm not kidding you. I read at least 3 of those just now, and that seems to be what he rambles on about, or he's just coming up with some other opinionated dreck. That's all that this guy does, and yet he's constantly lecturing people about journalistic integrity. Well, Ted, if you happen to be watching this, pay very close attention to the rest of the video, because I'm going to be letting everybody know what your journalistic integrity seems to include. They'll be able to find out for themselves, reading your stuff if they want to on Cleveland.com. I mean, it's disgusting. All your stuff is opinionated, and yet you're constantly whining and complaining, and I'm sure I know why, about journalistic integrity. You know what? Journalistic integrity, I happen to agree that it's lost for the most part. It should be who, what, when, where, how, just the facts. But you're ripping all these other areas to no end, and I have to say, when this news story hit about Lynn Jackenheimer being missing, I first read it from the Ashland Times-Gazette, and I have to give that little town credit because it was a very brief article. Who, what, when, where. I mean, it was just details. Very brief. Opinions were not there. And that's so rare now. Unlike your Plain Dealer, Cleveland. Holy heaven above. And you gotta love Ted's, one of his articles on why you should be reading the Plain Dealer. The local newspaper has 2 critical things going for it that no other information source can match. You'll love this. It's reputation and newsroom. Reputation of the Plain Dealer? People, do a Google search and take a look at any criticism directed towards the Cleveland Plain Dealer. It's interesting to say the least. Their reputation sucks. Their newsroom. Yeah, read the Plain Dealer, people. Don't watch the TV news or the internet. I'm not kidding. This is multiple articles from him, and he's just regurgitating the same pay for the Plain Dealer. You know what, Ted? We don't have to pay for the plain dealer. If we don't want to pay for the plain dealer or read from the plain dealer, we don't have to. And this was immensely stupid and foolish on your part and the part of the plain dealer. Ooh, boy. I mean, the plain dealer has already been suffering because it didn't know how to adapt to the change in technology. I mean, you've had television broadcast for a while. You should have been able to adapt to the internet, but whatever. Hey, good God, let's talk about this article. This is what he felt was worth saying. He was talking about how the plain dealer did not want to do this, and they were constantly getting swamped about not doing this story. And he even threw his assistant managing editor, Chris Quinn, under the bus. By the way, would love to know how Mr. Quinn feels about this. It's been my experience that bosses don't like being thrown out into the public and have their dirty laundry aired. Ted, I'm going to be following this story because I would love to know how long that Ted keeps his cushy job. I would be surprised if he keeps it. I don't get me wrong. I'm sure Mr. Quinn probably did say something stupid like these comments that Ted is quoting him on. But I doubt that Chris Quinn is going to want to pay the ultimate price. By the way,